Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about Maximum Ride Forever by James Patterson. And this is book 9, and hopefully the last book in the Maximum Ride series. Now, Nevermore came out a few years ago, and that was supposed to be the last. In fact, I think a few books before that were supposed to be the last. But, you know, let's keep kicking the dead horse. I was hesitant to pick this book up, especially after the ending that was Nevermore. Just, no. So, what really made me pick this book up was thinking, you know what, it certainly cannot get worse than Nevermore, so maybe this book will help redeem the ending books for me. So, I got it from the library, because I didn't want to spend my money on it, and I read it, and I will say I did like it more than Nevermore. I thought the ending was better, and I found it more... what's the word I'm looking for? It had more closure to it, I guess I should say. Yes, that is what I mean to say. So yeah, in that aspect, it was better than Nevermore, but there were still plenty of things that aggravated me. Because, yeah, I still kind of wish that I stopped after book 3. For those of you who have not read this far in the series yet, I suggest you click away now and come back after you read the book. For those of you who have read this far, or just don't care either way, please keep on watching. So, one thing that was kind of annoying about this book was how time flowed. Like, I get that there was quite a bit of time passing between each chapter, though how much and how that time flowed was confusing to me. Like, at one point it's like, yeah, I haven't seen anyone in a month, and I'm just like, when did this happen? What happened to that month? What the hell is going on? Like, Fang and everyone are doing a lot of flying to different continents, and I get time is gonna have to pass. It's not like they can fly across an ocean in a few hours with their wings. You know, it's gonna take time. But just, I got confused with whenever they mentioned, oh, this much time has passed, this much time has passed. I'm like, okay, I guess. I'm a little confused, but okay, I'll go with it. And I had like a set timeline set in my mind for the beginning books. So when Fang mentioned like, Angel's been seeing the future for about 2 years now. What? No. Last time I checked, she didn't start seeing the future until Nevermore, which, according to the beginning of the book, said was like, the end of Nevermore was 3 months ago. So now my internal timeline for the whole series is just out of whack. So time in this series, especially in this book, is weird. They got some time turner TARDIS stuff going on here. So yeah, like I said, this book takes place about 3 months after Nevermore, and pretty much everyone on that little island that they were on is dead. They're just dead. The weird comet thing that hit the earth and set the sky on fire screwed everything up. There was natural disasters that flooded the caves under the island where everyone took shelter. And while some of them, you know, survived, some of them obviously drowned, but some of them who survived, you know, eventually died from starvation or whatever. And only those who could breathe underwater were left alive. So the flock, they were above ground when that happened, so they didn't drown. Which is good, because last time I checked, only Angel, Max, and Fang had developed gills. Which, I just gotta say, it's annoying that they just said, like, oh, Nudge has gills too. It's like, no, they all tried to breathe underwater before, and it failed. Only the 3 that I mentioned before could breathe underwater. Stop bending the rules like this. That is not how world building works. So yeah, the flock is trying hard to survive. Dylan supposedly gets killed off, but yeah, no. One thing I've learned in books is unless you actually see them die or see a body, chances are good they're not dead. So the little twist with him coming back was not a surprise at all to me. Especially with him being the horseman. That did not surprise me at all. Just, the moment it mentioned him questioning orders, especially when it came to the flock, just, yeah, he was supposed to kill the flock, thanks to wonderful Dr. Gunther Hagen. Another thing that annoyed me, Angel pulling her little I'm gonna be the leader of the flock thing again. Or maybe not exactly like that, but her trying to be in charge again just annoyed me. I thought we were done with this. It's getting really old and it's just getting annoying as hell now. Why are you doing this again? And Angel with just her visions and stuff. First off, I'm annoyed with her having visions. Like, I know I can't say things should be realistic because this is like science fiction / fantasy. Probably more towards science fiction, but whatever. But, you know, everything else that the flock can do can kind of be explained away with science and scientific advancement and all that. But seeing the future, that's just kind of becoming a little too mystical, if you ask me, which doesn't fit with everything else. If everyone else, you know, had developed a slightly more mystical power, okay, I could probably live with that. You know, scientists playing God, maybe something funky happened, but since it's just Angel and she can see the future, that's just a little too much for me, and it annoys me. Especially when she's so vague on what she sees. When she pulls out, oh yeah, Fang is gonna die, it's like, that's all you're gonna say. You're not gonna be more specific. You're not gonna say how or why or what you saw, you're just gonna say you saw him die. And then expect everyone else to do something about it, and then get all whiny when it happens. Because it's like, you guys were supposed to do something. What were they supposed to do? So yeah, we also have the new baddie of the series, who is called the Remedy, who we actually found out is good old Dr. Gunther Haggard. Or I believe that's how you say his name. I don't know how to say anything in German, so whatever. So, I did like how we saw him again. I really did, because last time we heard of him, he was in a plane that was going down and disappeared without a trace. So it was nice to, you know, get some closure on what happened to him. And, you know, him doing what he's doing in this book makes sense. You know, it doesn't seem that out of character. Though, like I said, I was not surprised at all that Dylan came back, especially that he was the Horseman. Especially when he was questioning his orders that the good old evil doctor was giving him. Especially when it came to killing the flock. So the moment that was, you know, mentioned his hesitance or whatever, I'm like, yeah, no, that's Dylan. That is Dylan. Apparently, the good old doctor injected him with a serum to kind of make him more enhanced. And that's what the Horsemen are, more advanced life forms. So he's, you know, going around supposedly killing the flock, and I'm like, since it's Dylan and he has hesitance, they aren't dead. So when they came back, I was not surprised at all. So what else annoyed me? Jeb. Goddamn Jeb. First off, continuity mistake there. I actually went back into my copy of Angel and looked and double-checked this. Jeb was in the plane that brought Max and the flock to the island, and last time I checked, they were locking him up so that, you know, he wouldn't be left for dead, but he'd be under lock and key so he couldn't cause any harm. But in this book, you know, we have him working with the good old evil Dr. Remedy guy, and, you know, making more life forms and enhancing everyone. I'm like, how does this work? He was on the island, being locked up. How did he get from there, this isolated island, which, you know, he was on when the sky blew up? So, how did he get from there to working with the good old evil doctor? Especially since the flock would have known about him leaving. They probably would have seen him. How he would have survived the tsunamis and natural disasters, or even found something to get to the nearest continent, is beyond me. So I'm just like, how did this happen? You can't pull something like that and not do some sort of explanation. That's just lazy writing to me. See what I also liked? The old members from the Fang Gang, Holden, Ratchet, Star, and Kate. I like that we saw what happened to them in this book. It drove me insane not knowing in Nevermore, because it's like, Fang just left these kids to fend for themselves in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. And, you know, even after, you know, you hear there's this bad virus that's going to be released into the world with them in it, you know, right in the middle of civilization and all that, and, you know, oh yeah, you guys are gonna be safe on your little island, but what about them? You didn't even show a spark of worry about them. So I like to see that we saw that they were okay, and they were up and ready to help. I did like to see that Jeb and the good old doctor were actually killed too. Finally, gone. You guys should have done this ages ago. Another thing that annoyed me was that Max was pregnant. It's like, I didn't like how there was no foreshadowing for this. Apparently there was a brief scene that was supposed to imply that her and Fang did the dirty. Which aggravated me because it's like, well, that was vague as hell. Like, I know sex scenes in young adult lit are usually vague to start with. Like, a lot of times for young adult sex scenes, I would have to reread it like a good 2, 3, 4 times before I finally managed to come up with, okay, did they actually do it or not? I need some more hints here, guys. Can you just please come out and say it happened?
It happened.
With Maximum Ride, it was even vaguer than that. I'm just like, okay. So she did the dirty with Fang, I guess. I guess it should be really implied since she actually got knocked up. But there's no other foreshadowing, which aggravated me. It's like, don't drop that bomb just because and then have no foreshadowing. Like, even something vague, which I can, think back on and be like, oh my god, that's what that was. It's like, ugh. And the fact that it happened when she was 15 aggravated me. She is 15 in this. So it's like, no, that's not cool. I get it's at the end. I get that it's the end of the world, and, the next generation has to happen and all that, but why? Like, if this happened in an epilogue that took place a few years in the future, and she had a kid who was younger, okay, I could be totally cool with that. But the fact that she was 15 and this is, like, before the epilogue was just, no. No. That was weird. Yeah, so, jumping to Fang. Apparently, he was really close to death with what happened to him. But Dylan managed to, hook him up to a machine and put him in stasis so that his body could heal and, he could potentially survive if Max wanted him to. Like, he would have to have a prosthetic wing because he had one of his wings torn off. And he wanted Max's opinion. Do you want me to do this and bring him back? He'll be himself. He's not a clone or a robot or anything. Or do you want to let him go? And Max, of course, doesn't want to let him go. She's gonna have his kid. What I didn't get was that Dylan had to die to bring Fang back. I did not see the logic behind that. It feels like the writer was just like, well, you know what? Clearly Max can't choose one guy and have the other guy live, so let's just have Dylan die so that Fang can live. I didn't see the logic behind that. Unless what should have happened, if they wanted to go that route, was maybe there was a missing wire or piping or whatever connecting like 2 parts of the machine. And there needed to be something connecting the two, and so Dylan used himself to connect the 2 machines. That, while there are some problems with it, probably, would work better than just having him die to bring Fang back. You feel me? You feel me? I didn't like the fact that he died, and this is coming from someone who hates Dylan. I did not like Dylan from the start, and I want to punch him in the face and see him die. But, just because I wanted him to die doesn't mean I want him to die like that, because that's just pathetic. So, Fang lives, everyone's going to go underground because there's this big nuclear winter coming, and the epilogue is basically 5 years from now, when Max's and Fang's daughter, they have a girl and they name her Phoenix. She is like 5. They go somewhere south where it's nice and warm to, start anew. And yeah, we end the book with little Phoenix having her first flying lesson. So I thought that was cute. I like how that ended. I really did. It definitely had much more closure than what happened at the end of Nevermore. There was more action than Nevermore, and I thought things wrapped up much better than they did in Nevermore. So, I don't regret picking this book up, but still was not my favorite. I still wish I had stopped after book 3. But not much I can do now, but I did like how the series got a better ending, despite the faults that I saw in it. So yeah, that's it for this book review, and I hope to see you guys next time. Keep on reading, my fellow book addicts. Keep on reading.